Welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend, and I hope you all look forward to having a great week ahead. We're going to go ahead and jump into this week's Bleach. So let's go ahead, and we start off back in the royal palace. Okay, and what we have here is Nemaya and Renji having a conversation, and Nemaya is saying that you didn't object at all. You didn't object at all. Knowing you, I thought you would have said something like, he's working his butt off, you can't send him home. You noticed, didn't you, that it was useless no matter how hard he tried, right? And he goes on to explain that I know the whereabouts of every Asuchi I've ever forged. And what he goes on to explain that all Soul Reapers are given an Asuchi. We then shape it into our own Zanpakuto through continuous training. That is the core and basis of the relationship between Soul Reaper and his Zanpakuto. Absolute providence. Officers and of course captains too. The Zanpakuto to us in Zero Division as well. Even a vagabond like Kenpachi Zaraki acquired an Asuchi by stealing one from a dead Soul Reaper. Yeah, so that's how Kenpachi got his Pakuto, and that is, yeah. So he's not like Ichigo. He's different. He does have his very own Asuchi. He's had many hundreds of years to to go ahead and forge that relationship, and of course now obviously he can hear his Pakuto for the very first time. And we continue on. He's explaining that every single one of us, since the dawn of the Soul Society, there has never been a Soul Reaper who has awakened his Zanpakuto without using an Asuchi I forged. Not even one. It was obvious that this method wasn't going to work for him. You and I both knew that. He's the only one who did it. That's why he needs to find out the whereabouts of his soul. And this is Bleach chapter 529, titled The Rudiments. Well, excuse me, it's everything but the rain. This is Op 2, The Rudiments. Okay, so we go back and we see somebody says Captain. And let's look at that. Let's little Rangiku. Yeah, back when she was younger, a lot younger than she is right now. And saying, Captain, where are you? She's looking for a captain, and she is the 10th squad assistant captain. That's her rank. So she's, yeah. And so she sees the captain. She says, "Give me that tray." She throws the tray into the tree and tries to hit the captain. She says, "Well, I got you." He says, "Too bad. I caught it just in time, so you didn't get me." And what she does, she actually kicks the pan so that it does hit him in the face. And he's like, "Ah, you broke it. You broke my beautiful nose. I gotta take the day off now." Oh man, and she's like, "Come on, Captain. We have to go. You're going to work." So it's like, you got some work to do, so let's go ahead and get busy. And what we see here is Captain Sheba, 10th Squad Captain at the time, Ishin Sheba. So yeah, he was a captain of the 10th Division and not a captain of the Royal Guard. So that does answer a lot of, everybody did wonder, well, he's a captain of 10th or was he in Royal? Yeah, you just didn't know. You just didn't know, but a lot of people speculated. So yeah, he was a he is a Sheba. And so what they're going on, they're continuing the conversation, and basically Rangiku wants him to get the paperwork done, and he's like, nah, I'm not doing that. And so what he does, he says that I noticed that you've been slowly increasing my workload. Oh man, how frightening. Saying you witch. Oh man, yeah, they are very funny. He's like, you've been chasing me around. Your boobs are glistening. I like it. And the picture, after he says that, if you look at that picture of Rangiku, I mean, you see all the glimmer, the shininess in the background, as well as the glistening around her breasts. And if anybody's wondering, yeah, they're still the same size. They're the same size then as they are now. She's a very busty woman. Very busty indeed. And what we see here is another one. We have little Toshiro Hitsugaya. Back when he's much younger. Obviously he's the youngest captain, but he was and at that time he was the third seat of the 10th division. And so which eventually he would become the captain. So and how, you might ask. We see here little oh man, okay, I'm sorry people, but Ishin is picking up Hitsugaya like a little child, and what he's saying, he's like in up up and away. That's basically what it translates to, because it says taka take taka. He's like, my soon to be captain. And Rangiku's like, I should be in line for the captaincy based on rank. He's like, are you crazy? The squad be ruined if you became the captain. And Toshiro's like, I agree. My Bankai training is going well too, so I don't see any problems. She's like, Toshiro, have you lost your mind as well? Oh man, yeah. I mean, this is very interesting to see the continuation of the relationship between, Toshiro and Matsumoto. Being is that their relationship has always been the same since the beginning. Toshiro is still the same. They're all the same as they are now. And you got to see how interesting they were with the captain, with the captain for Ishin, because you've seen him in the real world. You see how crazy he is. It must have been a fun squad to be a part of, I must admit. And so what here, Toshiro, he came to give him a list of casualty reports. And it's from the city. It's from a mid-sized city called Naruki. The soldier assigned there died in an accident 2 months ago. And it seems like I remember the one still under investigation. That's the one. The report for last month's activities just came in. 2 more died from unknown causes. And so what happens is that Ishin takes off. He's getting ready to go there to investigate himself. And Rangiku's like, well, you're going there alone? You should take us along. For backup, he's like, no, you all stay here and cover for me. Get all that paperwork done. And Rangiku, she attempts to go after him, and he's the guy, so he's like, no. He's like, the captain went alone because he figured this investigation would be dangerous. And at our at our level right now, we'd only get in his way. And you see the look of concern on his face as he heads off. So it appears that Ishin maybe knows something more than everybody else. And we go to the next scene. We see here, you see Gin, Tosin, and Aizen. And they're our captains. And what Aizen, he said, he's asking any progress. It's like, no, not a lick. Unfortunately, no. We've been successful equipping hollows with the ability to holofy targets, but the toxicity is too high. Common, what it says, common Kampaku, let alone the Kampaku of court guard squads. Court guard officers can't handle it. He's like, I see. That's alright. We've been narrowing down Shinji Hirako's location. we get to conduct holification experiments while we smoke them out. It's two birds with one stone. Be patient, Gene, Kaname. Everything is in the palm of our hands. And that right there is the end of the Bleach chapter. Okay, this has a lot of discussion here from everything that I saw last week. Everybody was talking about. I did notice that people said that city that Ishin is going to is where the Fullbringers were located at. So this may tie into the Fullbringers at that point, maybe where he left off with Genjo and Tsukishima meeting when he introduced himself. This may be very if it does tie into it, I would assume that maybe that would be, I don't know if it'd be that exact point or maybe a little later, because we all know that he was definitely going around stealing powers from people back when he was a substitute soul repping himself, and also the fact that Uetsu explained to Renji and that Renji understood that no matter what Ichigo did, the Asuchi were not going to accept him for the simple fact that as of right now, Ichigo has to go. He needs to learn about his history and know himself in order to move forward. Now, whether Namaya would be able to forge an Asuchi for him once he does have that resolution, once he does have that knowledge, and once he knows everything and find out exactly what he is made of, I'm not sure. I just don't know at this point. But it's debatable because Namaya did say that even if you can't come back, even if you can't come back here, so I believe that he probably does know. I believe that a lot of people know about Ichigo, that he just didn't know himself. And what you did get is that yes, Ishin was a Shiba. So it appears that once the Shiba clan fell within the Soul Society, it's looking like it's going to appear the time with Ishin, in him, leaving the 10th squad, because obviously, he did lose his powers there fighting some foe there that he did have to use the final Getsuga Tensho on. So we look to get the backstory of not only what happened, also, and if this is going to tie into, Masaki, how, what happened with her as well, because with her being a Quincy, and if Grand Fisher really did kill her, yeah, it's like what I thought was that both of them, that both Ishin and Masaki used their final forms, that she used Lead Steel and that he did use Final Getsuga Tensho fighting some foe. And what you see here is that Aizen, Aizen has had thousands of years to plan all kind of things, and that I don't know if he had any dealings with the Fullbringers. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. Because like I said, he had thousands of years to plan, scheme, and plot things. And so this is definitely going to tie into back to what he told Ichigo. It's like, I knew about you even before you were born. So what did that mean? What does that mean exactly? We're definitely going to be looking forward to seeing this, and the experiments that he was conducting and how this ties in to everything. Well, yeah. So this flashback, it looks to be at least 20 years ago, at the very least, back before he lost his powers. This is after. This is a later date than it's after Turn Back the Pendulum, because obviously because you see that they're all captains now. Like I said, this was a very enjoyable chapter. It was very informative, and it makes you ask a lot of questions to try to figure out these mysteries that's going to be coming ahead in the weeks to come. Day.